Hey everybody, and welcome to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and it is Tuesday. It is week 2. We have a few more days left together, and we are streaming live here on Behance. If you are not following along, if you're maybe over on YouTube, come on over, follow the link to Behance so we can chat, because that is where people are going to be doing the chatting. We've got people coming in right now. Raphael is in the house. Sam Peterson moderating. We've got Jui K saying hello to everyone. Hello back to you as well. All right, we are excited to get going. Hey, it is Tuesday. That means it's either Taco Tuesday or it is, I have nothing else there for, just do tacos. I think that's the thing. Yeah, some sort of delicious food. What sort of delicious food will you be eating today or this evening? Let me know. Let me know in the chat there. Hang out with me and talk. Well, if you don't know what the XD Daily Creative Challenge is, quickly, let's go over it because that's why we're here. The Creative Challenge is a way to build your XD skills with just 9 challenges. Like we said, this is week 2. So today we're going to be on challenge number, I believe 6. 6 out of 9. It's going to be a lot of fun. And here's how the challenge works. Each day you're going to receive that challenge. You can scroll down on this page. The URL is behance.net/challenge/XD. And you'll receive those challenges. They unlock each and every day. Yesterday was a campsite finder. We're going to be reviewing some of those after in our Discord server and post it on Behance. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Audible sightseeing. We're going to be messing with some audio actions as well as scroll groups, animation. It's going to be pretty fun. Colleen Cass says, enchiladas. That's the way to go. I just had some enchiladas the other day and they were muy delicioso. Well, you're going to unlock everything each day like that, and you can click on the blue button, or excuse me, the white button right there, get started, to get the starting file each day for the challenge. Then you're going to join the community chat, not just the live chat, but the Discord. Over here on Discord, we have the Adobe XD server that is over 36,000 creatives. This is where we're going to find friends, feedback, community, and then also constructive criticism, critique of your work. It's also where we're going to be reviewing a bunch of our projects from yesterday. So submit your stuff here as well as on Behance, and then we can take a look at it right here on the live show, which you are currently watching. And then finally, share your work like we just talked about. That's it. That's the Daily Creative Challenge. Sam Peterson is posting some helpful links down there in the description. Thank you so much for that, Sam. And Tia Reed says tacos tonight. That's what I'm talking about. Christina says pot roast. That's some comfort food. I like me some pot roast and some meatloaf. That's a good call right there. Well, why don't we dive over to our XD file for the day. Here it is. Again, we are on challenge number 6. And a little bit about the challenge. We're designing and prototyping the sightseeing experience for a road trip app, so you can find different things to look at. And then we want to focus on exploring maps with those scroll groups again, incorporating that audio feedback, and then maybe, I'm just going to move my microphone up a little bit, maybe, just maybe, allow them to interact with some landmarks there. I have a starting artboard, over here on my, I can't talk today, on the canvas. It's called Destination Home, and it might look a little bit different than your starting file. I just took a little bit of extra time. I added some color, a little navigation. I moved a few things around because I wanted to save some time. Let's look at our prototype so far. I hit play up there on the right-hand corner, and here's what we have. Eventually, we're going to be able to pull this kind of tab down and see the map that you can see just peeking behind it, interact with our map. And then we have some large cards like featured things, maybe things that we favorited. And I've already gone ahead and I've wired up in our prototype tab, I've wired up our navigation so we can actually navigate around this little navigation here at the bottom. We're kind of on the home screen originally. That's what we're doing. That's our home screen. Let's go. Colleen says, love these challenges. I love these challenges too. They're so much fun. Excited for today's challenge. Mona says, how do I export my work? Pratibha, I'm so sorry, I probably messed up your name. How do you export the work? You're gonna go ahead and select your artboard, and then you wanna go up to File, hit Export, and you can do the selected artboard, all the artboards. You can even push them to After Effects because Adobe knows that maybe you wanna take all these elements Moving into After Effects, put a little bit of mustard on that thing, put a little bit of stank on it, and just kind of mix it up. And so that's how you export your work. You can also use the hotkeys of Command E or Command Shift E. Really, really easy. Great question though. That is how you export the work. Cornell says, hey ya, back to you. Let's get started. Let's do some design work, folks. All right, first things first, we have this awesome little card thing right here. And I think eventually we're going to be able to pull that down. But first things first, we have our navigation. It's all done. So let's go ahead and lock that so we can work on top of it. We have this card interface thing going on here. And let's see, we have our top controls there. We have that little pull tab thing. And then we have a large card, a small card, and a little title above that thing right there. Let's zoom in, and we want to create a scrollable, almost iOS Today tab type thing, or not Today tab, but be able to horizontally scroll some more of these large cards. I'm probably going to sneeze in like 30 seconds, just so you know. I feel a little tickle in the nose. Just letting everybody know. All right, so we want to build these things out, and I think that's a good idea for us. Why don't we go ahead and hit Command or Control R and create a repeat grid? That'd be the easiest way to do these things fast. And let's just drag a bunch of them out. Then we can mess with our spacing. Okay, everybody doing all right so far? So far, so good. We don't need this much spacing, do we? I don't think so. So let's just drag it in. Now, what's interesting is when you do repeat grids and you drag them in, it is honoring every single thing that's in that design element. For us, when we not only have the card, but there is a very subtle shadow. I don't know if you can see a very subtle shadow on the outside. So that's extending what looks like the boundaries of our card. That's okay. We can still manipulate it. We can do negative margins to overcome that. All right, so that looks pretty good. We don't want them too far away, something like that. It's always a good idea when we are doing a little bit of interface design. I'm gonna move my microphone up a little bit, excuse me. It's always a good idea when we're doing interface design and you're doing these horizontal scroll groups like these to intentionally leave them overlapping the edge of the device size. That's a good user experience practice. Why? Because it tells people intuitively there's stuff there for you to horizontally scroll with your finger, okay? Now that we have our repeat grid done, why don't we click inside of that repeat grid? I'm gonna open up my Finder and I have a bunch of images down here. Why don't we grab all of our images and just drag those inside of our repeat grid, and we're gonna go ahead and get all of the different locations via images, okay? Now, I've already gone ahead as well. So we click into our card again, into the name of the location, and we have text files that have some locations, actually like geographic, the names of those locations, and even some ratings. This is just a bunch of filler data that we already expected we were gonna use. It's nice to have laying around. So let's take our names text file and drag it in, boop, and it fills those. Why don't we go ahead and find the location right there. You can see we have our location selected. Let's take location and drag it right on there. It's going to replace those locations. And why don't we find that rating, and we'll just take the ratings and just drag it right on top of there. Now we have, instead of going and finding Lorem Ipsum or going in and doing each one of these individually, we can just do it like so. And that's pretty nice. I like that a lot. Okay. With our entire group selected, not the card UI, but the card large, this guy right here, we want to now, and we're getting something interesting, and I'm gonna figure out what exactly is it. What is it that is down below? Something, I think. I think we should have everything, okay. Yep, no, card large, just like that. We want to go ahead and we want to create a horizontal scroll group. So I'm going to head up here into my properties panel. I'm going to hit a horizontal scroll group, and that is going to immediately just chop it off, okay? So we see our little handles that have been created here. This is how much do we want to see in the view? Well, obviously we want the entire viewport. That works out well for us, but now we should be able to drag these over and just kind of scroll through these guys. It's really, really nice. That's a nice interaction there. And at any time we can stop on them. Now, I want to talk really, really quickly about repeat grid workflow. Okay, I'm going to answer any of your questions first before I talk about that. Let's see. What programs are good to learn for UI design? I'm going to go with Adobe XD. That's a really, really good one. And then Sam Peterson made a good point. If you want to learn more about Adobe XD, not just the challenges, which I think are great, but you can head over to letsxd.com. Let's look at letsxd.com, kind of operated and ran by Howard Pinsky. A great place to start is the What's New place. I also like the Learn area of the site. For some reason, my internet is not wanting to work. But yeah, I like going over to Learn. And if you're just getting started, go with Getting Started. You want to know more about prototyping, component states, remote work, all that kind of stuff. Head over there and check it out. It's a really, really great resource, okay? Let's see, any other questions? I've made it, Angela says, I made it for the first time to the live challenge. It's 10 p.m. here in Manchester. Well, you are a beast for joining us today, or tonight for you. Thank you for doing that. We're building a little destination thing. I want to go quickly back and talk about repeat grid workflow. I get this question a lot. When is the right time to use a repeat grid, and when's not the right time to repeat grid? Well, I would say I use repeat grids personally. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Let me just talk about my workflow with that. I use repeat grids to quickly and seamlessly create massive amounts of content. And then a lot of times I will actually ungroup it from the repeat grid. And that's just how I roll. I dig that. I don't need it to stay in the repeat grid. I feel like once I have my design really solidified, I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the repeat grid. Does that make sense? So I love this card. I love the way it looks. I'm happy with it. No problems, any of that stuff. Actually, I do maybe have one problem with my repeat grid, but that's okay. So I'm happy with it as it is. And that means I'm gonna go ahead and go into my repeat grid, and I'm going to ungroup it from the grid. Now they're all individual elements, but they should still be in that horizontal scroll group. So I should still be able to scroll through them. And now they're all each individual elements. That's fine with me. I'm done needing that fast thing. So that's just how I use repeat grids. Okay, keep that in mind. We're gonna do the same thing down here with these little fellas. I'm gonna take the card small here, press Command or Control R to make our repeat grid there. Drag that thing out so we have a bunch of them. Mess with our spacing, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to just bring this portion. Excuse me, I'm going to hide that or I'm going to lock that. That's better. I'm going to take my Alcatraz photo. I'm going to go back to my Finder. I'm going to grab all these and drag them in. Woo! Something wrong happened there. What did I do? I don't know. Okay, let's try that one more time. Let's grab all of these and drag them in. There we go. What was wrong was I had that little gradient on top, so now I'm just moving it. I made a little mess up there. I deleted the gradient. So I have a layer on top of my images. That layer is a gradiated kind of tab for the bottom, so the text really stands out. On this first set of cards, I dragged it right onto the gradient and I replaced it by accident. That's okay. We could go back and fix it if we want to. I don't care about it too much right now. We're gonna keep cruising. So again, now that we have our cards small all taken care of, I'm gonna ungroup it from the grid, okay? Make sure they're all together though. Card small like that. I'm gonna put it in my horizontal scroll group. It's gonna cap it at the sides there, and we are going to be able to kind of horizontally scroll through these things. Pretty nice. I'm digging it, okay? So now we have that working. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. Why don't we put this whole thing together, take our card UI and be able to pull it down, okay? I think that sounds like a good idea. So I'm gonna take all of these things. We have this whole thing is in a scroll group. Yes, that's our map. Let's call that map like so. I'm gonna take the whole thing and I'm going to press Command or Control K. Whoa, let's try that again. I'm gonna take the whole thing. Yes, I am gonna take the whole thing. And I'm gonna go Command or Control K. And this is going to be main UI. Why am I doing this? Because I'm gonna use component states. I don't usually do this, but let's experiment and have some fun. I'm gonna use component states over here to create the scroll down view and then the scrolled up view. Let's see if we can get that to work. Well, maybe we don't need to do that. Let me go back. Maybe that's too much. Why don't we just go like this? Why don't we do it this way, okay? So I'm going to drag this thing down just like that. You can see our map kind of ends there. I'm gonna drag it down. And then I'm gonna head over to my prototype tab. I'm gonna grab the whole card and I'm gonna drag it over to the next one. I'm gonna drag auto animate to the new destination home. Is there any easing? Yeah, let's do a little snappage, okay? And then the same thing. I'm gonna grab the card over here and I'm going to drag it back and I get the same prototyping effects there on the right hand side. Okay, so let's go check our prototype out and see what it looks like. We should be able to scroll back and forth between these things, and then I should be able to grab this and, whoa, I messed up somehow. What is happening? Our card UI, let's lock that, lock that, lock that, and lock that. Again, we are on drag auto animate over there. Let's do no transition. And again, we should be able to go back with no transition. Okay, everything should be working. There it goes. Now it's working. I don't know why it wasn't working before. Man, I'm having some sort of problem for some reason. I'll tell you what. No, that should work. It is working one way, but not the other way. You ever just having that kind of day? Okay. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Somebody might be able to tell me in the chat. Oh, Colleen says it's hilarious. This is the map of the area where you live. Well, what's pretty cool is we already have some stuff put on that map, and it's already in a scroll group of both horizontal and vertical scroll group. So we can actually scroll around like a large chunk of California and see all of these little destinations, which is pretty cool. But right now, we're trying to figure out why this is not wanting to move around, and I don't know why that is. It kind of worked for a second. We can let's try tap. Let's see what's happening with our tap, if we can get tap to work. So we should be able to tap on any part of this and scroll it up and down. Okay, let's change a little easing to snap there and snap there. We're getting closer. We have it down. We can click on it and it goes down and it goes up. Okay, so now we should be able to drag auto animate that thing. No, I don't know why, folks. We're having weird issues. Let's try this one more time really quickly. Drag that thing down, grab the whole thing, and then if this doesn't work, we're gonna move on because we ain't got time to troubleshoot today. We just don't have the time. Let's grab the other one, head back, and destination home, snap. Everything should work now. Nope, I don't know why it's not working. All right, so we're just gonna stick with the tap. Somebody who is smarter than me, because there's lots of those types of people out there in the world, might tell me what's going on with our thing. We're just gonna fake it for now. We have this kind of up and down, and that's working pretty good for us, okay? Chris says, my file doesn't look like what Jesse's working on. Do I have the wrong file? No, you have the right file. I just made a couple of upgrades, a couple of updates to it. So, yeah, so just keep that in mind, okay? Sorry about that. I apologize. All right. Okay, with that being said, you know what? I think I have an idea. Wait a minute, as to why it might not be working. Let's delete the prototype on both of them. I really feel like I have it now. Let's group all of them together, okay? Let's group all of them together. Let's delete that prototype. Let's create another one. And then what we want to do is we want to tap the whole thing, right? So we have group 190, group 190. Give me a random name. That's cool. Let's prototype. Over to here, auto animate on drag, and let's do a little snap action. And the same thing, back this way, boom, drag, auto animate, snap. And now we should be able to, no. I am all sorts of messed up today, you guys. That's okay. We'll go back to the way we had it because it was kind of working. And this is part of it. This is part of it, figuring things out, troubleshooting. All right, so we are exactly back to where we were before. Everything's fine. Let's do this. All right, so far so good. Now, here's what I really want to do. We have a little bit of time left. I want to add some sounds because this is about Audible sightseeing. Once I'm here, I want to maybe, let's see, we had the Santa Monica Pier somewhere, I believe. So let's go back to our design tab. Where is our Santa Monica Pier? I want to take this card large and I want to bring it on to this guy right here, okay? I'm going to shrink the whole thing down and let's zoom in so we can see what we are working on, okay? I want to just bring that right next to it, and when I tap on this thing, I want to bring up I want to bring up my location. Does that sound good? I think that sounds all right. So first thing we're gonna do is I think we should probably change the UI of this a little bit, don't you? I think so. So let's do this. We have this portion here. We're gonna get rid of it. And I'm gonna create another square behind it that's gonna be nice and large. I wanna just fill it with white though. And then I want to take my Santa Monica image and I want to probably just bring it to take up the whole top like so. I'm going to use the edges down below and just flatten them out. I like that look. And then I want to take all of these and move them to our darker color like so. And we're also going to take our little rating. Let's move that to be something like this. And I think I had some filler text for a different location. That's okay. We'll just take what we have here for Alcatraz. I almost said Arkansas. It's not Arkansas. It's Alcatraz. Let's take Santa Monica, California, and let's actually mellow that out. We'll make it kind of a gray. So we're just going to do a little bit of typography work here really quickly. By the way, I'm using Poppins because it is still rocking my world as far as typography goes. Let's bring that up. And take this down and we're gonna fill it. And what are we gonna do? We're gonna make sure that our text is area text, and let's just bring the area into play like that. And why don't we give it a little bit of line height so it's actually legible, and maybe a little bit smaller. That works. Something like that. Okay, now doesn't have to be the best thing ever, but now we have this new version of a card. And I'm actually going to do one more little thing. I'm going to let's do a line, shall we? Or maybe, yep. Let's do something like this. Let's do a triangle. And we're just going to turn it on its side, take the border off and fill it with our color. And that'll be right there as part of our card. Let's put it inside of our card. Just like that. And now we can space it away a little bit more. Okay. And I'm just going to move this little Santa Monica bubble because it's probably at the pier. It's probably more like right there. This is going to give us a little bit of space. Okay. Something like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to take the two of these. I'm going to take my large card and I'm going to just move it inside of my map. Sound good? And I'm going to grab two of them. I'm going to group them together. I'm going to call this map card. And I'm going to make a component out of it that has multiple states. The new state is going to be active. There we go. By default, though, I want this card to be off and I want it to be moved over a little bit. That's by default. And then active, I want this thing to be on and moved into position. Does that make sense? So now we should be able to go back and forth between the two. And we're gonna do one little prototype that has an audible action on top of it, and then we got to get out of here, all right? So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a tap, auto animate to the active state with a little bit of snap. And then let's go to the active state and let's do the same thing. Basically, we tap the card and it auto animates back to the default state, okay? But, so it should be working pretty good right now. We should bring up our thing, we should tap on it, and we get a little bit of an interaction. It's really far over. It's like really far over. We don't need the card to be that far over. Okay, let's try that one more time. Santa Monica, boop, there it is. Something like that, that's fine. But what we want is a little sound. So let's do that really, really quickly. We have our map card selected on the default state. We're gonna head down here and we're gonna add an action, an audio playback, and we're going to add a new file, okay? I'm gonna head to my assets for this project. Right here, somewhere in my assets, I have a little pop sound. So let's do a pop sound like that. Now that sound's been saved inside of Adobe XD, so I can head back over to active and do the same thing. Add an audio playback and use pop. And I'm gonna turn the volume up on my laptop in hopes that you can hear it. Let's see if we can hear it. I hope you could hear that. Let's try it again. It's pretty fun. Okay, so we're gonna head back here. We can roll this up, roll it down. Oh, we got this fun little animation somehow. I don't know how I did that. That's pretty fun. But now we can click on our Santa Monica Pier, turn it off, whoop, scroll around, select the locations, navigate in our nav. And that is our challenge for today, to use not only this audio, but use some more audio files. Go find some free stock audio files out there and have some fun with it. We have literally 1 minute left. And so I want to check out some of these great submissions yesterday. This one's from Mo Fathalahi, and he did his campy kind of camp finder interface. And this one was really cool. I loved it. There was a great little addition of this tab right here that moved everything back in. So he used vertical scroll groups, and then he was able to hit the little tab, whoop, little component state, I think over there, to get a full screen. That's a great experience, being able to go full screen. Loved that little addition to the challenge. Marina Zago continuing to add on to her ever-growing library of challenges in this one project or one submission on Behance, which is so cool. And this one has a little Vimeo video kind of preview to it. So let's check that one out. Scrolling down, maybe a little horizontal scroll group right here. Really, really nice. Clicking on one. Oh, maybe not clicking on it, but I love the aesthetic of this. It's really clean. It's very simple, very like Airbnb-ish, very startup, very clean and modern. So I'm loving the style there. The colors are great. Green and orange work great. It has those connotations of exploration, fun, summer, organic, kind of earthy thing. So that's really, really good stuff as well. And then the last one, we have this submission by Andrew Hove, and then we got to get out of here. Beautiful. Watch out for your use of yellow there on the black. It looks a little harsh. I do like this idea of the active state there, which is pretty fun. So great work there, Andrew, as well. Let's take really quickly a look at the schedule. We have Design in the Dark with Andrew and Logan coming up. You just got done with Paul Snig in the UI UX case study, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for the Adobe Daily Creative Challenge. Again, I'm your host, Jesse Showalter. Have fun, post those in Discord and on Behance, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.